Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hi Flor, hi William, how are you guys?
Hello, let's talk about the differences between the time of our grandparents, parents, and our time.
The technology is very different. All the apparatus were individual radio, television, watches, and those were very expensive. Now we have everything in a single device. Could you imagine if our parents had had all we have? Today, we can make calls anywhere. In the past, watching television was at a fixed time and place. Now, we have total access to any movies or series.
They lived in towns. Those towns were small. In that time didn't exist the electricity, therefore they wasn't the appliances. They were farmers. They could farm, they owned food and raise animals to eat. They couldn't drink water like us because in that time there wasn't the water service. They drank water of the rivers, and the nature was the bathroom. And they wasn't the toilet paper, and they have only one product for the cleaning of the house, the food, and personal hygiene. They weren't entertainment options because most of the time they had to work. They worked all day, and they were transported by horses. In this time, it was a time with many wars, a lot of discrimination from the woman. The women always work the skirts. There were few options and a lot of hungry. Sometimes the grandparents were forced to get married even when they were a child. They had large families and they couldn't give a good education for their children. And they were super believers in the religion.
And well, I think that the lifestyle of my grandfathers and parents was very different to from the that I have one. Starting because before this were not internet and my family the means of transport was on foot. No, don't have cars. I didn't have bus, so I think was very difficult for they, and the food was much healthier and more natural because the food was was better than now. So I think so the lifestyle was calmer because the things was very easy. So the people like to have many children, and so I think that's what's difficult for they.
Yes, partner. For our grandparents, the transportation was only possible on foot or on animals, and the times were very longer. Now, we have planes to travel through the countries in very short times. In the past, if they didn't know the way, it was very easy to get lost. Now, we just put the destination and application and go anywhere. The food of our parents and grandparents was more natural, practically from the land to the table, cooked over firewood. Currently, we eat we find in supermarkets, and it is easier to cook.
Well, everything was generally more difficult because at that time they married so quickly. For example, 20 years, 19 years, and I think that's very crazy. And had many children, many sons and many daughters. It could be better for sure. The habits were hard work, many hours a week, at least in my family. They could study, so they had work to pay their university, and that's how they keep going. And I think is very amazing. So it's, everything from my family, for example.
Our parents could move from the town of the cities, and of course, some parents were in the towns. They could discover the electricity, and with it, the appliances. There was a water service. They could have entertainment options like a radio and TV. New methods of the transportation were developed, like a motorbike or car or bus. The discrimination for the woman was reduced. The families were smaller. They weren't forced to get married. They were less hungry. They were in better education and quality of life. They were very religious but more liberal in comparison with their parents. They had a lot of political problems, but less worse.
I remember that when I was a child, I enjoyed my childhood. Today, the children used to use the cell phones or tablets for play. It could be different if the parents try to play with their sons like in the past. The habits were different. Today, you can't smoke in specific areas. You can feel free to talk about sex and the law allows drugs use. Before was normal to wait the newspaper to find news and jobs. Today, everything is just a click away. Shopping was easier since there were not many options either. The most important thing was to have a good television, a good car, a good house. Nowadays, we have many options.
In my case, I think everything is easier since we are in the age of technology. Transportation is easier, but the first I think are not healthy. You know, fast food and food with something very strange. There are no good things and bad things. Yeah, for sure. So I think this time is more difficult to live because so everything is so expensive, and that's how the people don't want to to have children. And I think it's correct, but it's my opinion. So thank you so much.
We're in a time with a lot of appliances. We are connecting with our world all time. We couldn't learn farm because we live in the cities. We couldn't eat natural products because we buy all in the stores, and those products are processed. It was normal for us the water service, electricity, or gas. We have a lot of entertainment options, as well as incremented the insecurity. The women's liberation was a reality. In our times, we don't want to have family or children. In this time, overflow the insecurity. We want to travel around the world. We want to work a little and earn a lot of money.
Okay, bye guys.
Okay, thanks. Bye.